What's going on, everyone? Monday, Miz in the midday, and you know what they say when he goes to the car. It's probably not a good thing, but I'll just do a little something here. Last night, listen, man, we might as well just dive right into this because there's no nice way to walk into it. The game last night was ugly. The game, just straight up, the Giants got their asses beat. It was a beatdown of epic levels and a beating of humble pie, if you will. The Giants open up the game anticipating a game the fans excited for a long time. Some fans going a little overboard with their excitement before we got to this game, and I'll get to that. But the Giants open up the game. They drive down the field, a punch you in the mouth, run the ball up your gut type of drive. For a while, that drive like it was sending a statement not only to the Cowboys, but to everyone. And if they would keep running, it would open up the throw later on. But a false start by Thomas, I believe, on the 7 or 8 yard line, right? Takes them out back. A bad snap. Okay. You line up for the field goal. And I believe this is where the game ended. To me, the game didn't turn right here. To me, the game ended. When the Cowboys block a field goal and take that shit back to the house for 6. Okay? It's not that the Cowboys were only up 6-0. It's only 6. You're right. Early in a game. But you went on a 10-minute drive. A 10-minute physical pounded in your mouth drive that was going to set up the game for throwing later on off the play action. Exactly what the Giants needed. It was going right. The field goal gets blocked. It's taken back for a touchdown. You got to understand, to a young team, how demoralizing that was to your confidence. I believe the game was over right there because the confidence was shot on a young team. They were shell-shocked, and they never bounced back from that. And on the next drive, I believe Barkley fumbles a catch on a wet, rainy night. No excuses. Some people want to bitch about that it was wet. It's raining. Let me tell you something, people. It's the Northeast, and it was raining for both teams. What do you fucking think? It was raining for the Giants, but it was a dry, sunny day for Dallas? So stop with the bullshit. Sometimes people make excuses that makes teams look so soft, bro. Don't go there. It's simple. You fumbled. They ran it in. They now got, 13 points on the board? Dude, the game's over. Whatever it is, man. The game's over. The Giants were not bouncing back from that. It destroyed a young team's confidence. You got 2 rookies at corner, so you know there's going to be some growing pains. And the defense wasn't so bad last night. They held their own. But at some point, when you keep turning the ball over and you're not sustaining any more drives after the first drive, your defense is just not going to last all night. Against a Cowboy team, whether you like it or not, some of you guys out there, you know who I'm talking to. Whether you like it or not, the Dallas Cowboys are a Super Bowl caliber football team in the NFL. And I'm going to give you the facts. The Giants are not on their level. Whether you like it or not, man. The Giants are not on that level right now. And the Cowboys handed the Giants a whoop ass that basically told them, you're our babies. And we've been their babies and bitches for 5 years, and it continues. Actually, it got worse last night. Listen, sometimes games snowball. I think that things snowballed last night. One thing after another became an avalanche. And then the game's out of hand, There's things I question in this game. First of all, let me tell you right now, Dabble got outcoached. I love Dabble. I think he's going to be here for a long time. Dabble got outcoached. And the Giants got outplayed in every fucking aspect of the game. Everywhere. Receiving, corner, line. The O-line got beat the shit out of. So when I told you guys out there that Dallas's pass rush is a nasty bastard, you found out last night, didn't we? Not only Evan Neal got abused, here's a news flash for everyone. Whether you like to admit it, Andrew Thomas got abused also. The whole O-line was abused. I don't want to hear about Glowinski. Yeah, maybe the guys don't belong on the starting line. The entire line as a whole got assaulted. The Cowboys defense was a monster. You got to show respect. You got to give respect. Actually, I'm going to tell you, I'll say it again. The Cowboys front seven is the best front seven in the NFL. Lawrence and Parsons are the scariest dual pass rush in the NFL. I mean, there's no shock here. I've been talking about Parsons for a year and a half before he was drafted. I told people way before he was drafted he would be the closest thing to Lawrence Taylor in the NFL. Voila. Guess what you have? He's a modern-day LT or close to it, and that's good enough. He's the best defender in football, hands down, and if anyone says no, I won't even sit there and argue with them. There's no point in having a conversation. Parsons is the number one best, scariest threat lion in the NFL. He's a game wrecker, he's a league wrecker, and he's the type that's capable with Lawrence on the other side to take Dallas to a Super Bowl. Yeah, you heard it. Dallas could very well go to a Super Bowl this year. It's only week 1. But sometimes when a team's been knocking on the door for years and then they start showing things like this, if you understand football, you know what's up. And I'm not going to give you football through the Giant shades like some people. I'm a diehard Giant fan. You take my red heart and you turn it inside out. It bleeds blue. Everyone knows it. But I gotta keep it real. You gotta be real. If you're gonna give videos and content and you're gonna talk football and you wanna be respected for your football knowledge, you gotta be real. And here's the reality. The Giants are a team that's still building. The Giants this year it's gonna be a growth season. You got a lot of young players that gotta grow. Okay? And last year was a surprise, very fun season. Thank you, Dabble. Giants, Jones, Barkley. It was fun. I enjoyed it. But at no point did you think the Giants were going to a Super Bowl last year. And in this offseason with the additions in the draft, again, kids who have to grow in the NFL, and a couple of free agents, people went off the deep edge and started talking about 13 wins and Super Bowls. No. You can't just go to a Super Bowl. It's something that usually has to be earned step by step over the years, and usually that means heartbreaking losses in playoffs or NFC championships, and you learn each year from that, and then you finally make the run all the way. The tough road is the right road, and it makes you appreciate that champagne at the end. Now, I know the Giants have historically had years where they've come out of nowhere and won championships. That can happen too. But if you look at the 07 Giants and the 11 Giants, but mostly the 07 Giants were building a team over the years. They had a lot of players on those teams that were there for many years that led into a new group. Okay? Strahan was there forever. Tiki Barber had just retired. Amani Toomer had been there forever. Listen. You gotta earn shit. Giants were good last year. But here are the facts. They played an easy schedule. in an NFC conference that was not strong. Rodgers and the Packers had a down year. Yeah, we whooped their ass. But you guys forgot that because we had a surprising year way ahead of schedule for good coaching and a very fundamentally sound team, very disciplined, won games, very close games, you allowed that to give you a false belief that this year the Giants were going to go to the NFC Championship or even a Super Bowl. Stop yourself. Stop it, bro. Keep shit real. Stop thinking with the heart, and you got to think with this. The heart is where the Giants will always be, but you also got to be realistic. The Giants are a young, growing team. This regime is building a big-time team for the future. A long, sustainable run. Not a 1 or 2 year thing. And you can't expect it all to come in a 1 or 2 year thing. Just because the Giants won a playoff game last year and everything had set up perfectly doesn't mean you were going to get that this year. I'm not saying the Giants don't go to the playoffs because of last night. Last night was a old-fashioned, I bend you over and give you a whoop-ass, what we called back in the days in Brooklyn, a beating. The Cowboys lined us up and they lit us up. But yo, it's one loss. Whether you lose 10-7 or 40-0, it's one loss. It just looked bad because they were dominated in every aspect of the game. And as the second half went on and the rain started pouring, the players kind of, I want to say give up. They didn't give up, but, you know, the anger was sucked out of them. And that happens in a game once it gets well out of hand. And it's pouring rain. And you have a hurt tackle, one of the best in the NFL, Thomas. You know, so, listen. You know, you got to tip your cap to the Cowboys. The Cowboys are one of the best teams in football. I believe this year the Cowboys are going to have learned what it takes over the last few years to finally make their run. Okay, the Cowboys are one of the teams in the NFC that's going to make the run. The Niners are probably the other. A lot of people are on the Eagles. The Eagles are really good. Honestly, I don't think the Eagles are as good as Dallas and the Niners. My opinion. It's only one game. The Cowboys' defense might be the best in the NFL, especially in the front. They ain't a bad secondary either. Look, you learn from this. You go to next week to Arizona. Arizona is a team that, to me, they're not looking to win many games this year because they got eyes on some quarterback in the draft next year. Whatever. That's their agenda. You're going to beat Arizona because if you don't beat Arizona, the Giants' season's over. You go to Arizona, you win. Do not get all crazy and start talking about Super Bowl parades and we're going to make the run and last week was just a fluke. No. I'm not going to take shit out of beating Arizona except that we bounced back. You know what the Arizona game will tell me? What kind of coach Dable really is. If the team bounces back, responds, and wins a convincing football game, you know Dable is the real deal coach we all know he is. And even if they don't, he still is. But it'll tell me a lot about him and the character of the team from his personality. Come back, go to Arizona, get a convincing W. You don't got to be a blowout, but show me 4 good quarters of football. You got to win the game. But you know when your real test is coming, brothers? The following Thursday night when the Giants go to San Francisco. The Niners are a powerhouse. Their defense looks lethal. They got an all-around, old-school play-action offense. Right? McCaffrey, Kittles, Debo. Ayuk looks like a beast. Their O-line's a monster, and the quarterback, Purdy's young, but he's looking pretty damn good. So, with that top defense, the Giants are going to be up for a brawl. But it's only going to be a brawl if the Giants can make it one. You tell me a lot more about this Giant team's character by going to San Francisco, getting into a dog brawl with them, and losing by 3 or 6, rather than beating Arizona by 13 or 17. I get more out of a loss by a couple of points where we pull the Niners into a dogfight in their home than I do out of a win from Arizona. And that's what I'm going to be looking for. Go to Arizona, take care of business, because you're supposed to. You better, because if you don't, your season's pretty much done. So take care of business in Arizona, and let me see how you play against the Niners. Maybe, you never know. Maybe you win a game. But I won't be looking for that in San Francisco. You're asking a lot. I'll be looking for, how do the Giants play with the best, the elite in the NFL? And the Niners are elite on both sides of the ball. In their home, on a short week. Show it to me. Last night's gone. I'm moving on after today. It's one loss. It's happened in the past. It don't look good. But let's be honest. It does not describe what this Giants team is. Things snowballed. There was an avalanche. Shit happens. It happened. We see the Cowboys again this year. Show me over the next 2 to 3 weeks what the Giants really are. Find a way to 2-2. You get to 2-2, we have a season to talk about. One game's not going to change my mind frame. I never thought the Giants were a Super Bowl team this year during the summer. I thought the Giants were going to be a 9. I had the Giants for 9 to 10 wins. Honestly, when I look at the schedule and the young rookies in the secondary, I said we're going to be a 9-8 team, more so than 10-7. I hated to say that to people, and it hurt me to say that. But I do believe, and I've said it, the Giants might have a worse record this year or around the same record and not make the playoffs. But you will see a better football team and a growing product as the year goes on week by week, which would lead them to becoming a real deal football team next year. Because I believe we're a year away, one more draft, and we got what, like $140, 130, 140 million in the offseason. So the Giants will really put shit together. You got to give these guys time. People forget they just came in last year. And why do people forget? Because they made a run. They won a playoff game on the road. And they made people believe that they were like these genius wizards. Don't get me wrong. Joe Shane is looking like a great GM. Dabo, I love him. I think he's going to be here for a decade. We all know wink is wink. They're all good. Not mad at Daniel Jones. Okay? Joe Montana would have looked just like Daniel Jones last night. He got sacked 9 times. He took a beat down when he wasn't getting sacked. And do me a favor, Coach Dabo, if you're out there, you got to start to kill these runs. The league sees them. The league knows them. The RPO, you got to make it more of a surprise and rare. You can't keep living on these RPO runs. You're going to get Daniel Jones fucking killed. I mean, literally, you're going to get this guy taken out in a wheelchair. You got to stop this. He should not be rushing the ball more times than Barkley. The score was 6-0. The score got to 9-0. And the Giants completely abandoned the run. And that's what happened last night. The second the Giants abandoned the run and went to this drop-back throws and tried this passing game, you put this O-line in the foaming mouth of those lions on the defense. You played right into what they wanted. That defense, you got to run the ball on them all game and hit them with play actions here and there later on. You cannot go back and drop back and start passing every down against a front seven that will literally kill you with their pass rush. And the Giants walked right into it. And that's why I say Coach Dabo was outcoached by McCarthy. Listen, I'm not upset. And you didn't see me go on a rant last night. I'm not going to get mad and throw the Giants under the bus like it was 3 years ago. Because it's not 3 years ago. This Giants team's a good team. They're not an elite team. They're not a Super Bowl team. They're making their steps towards one. They're building a young, strong team. But you got to remember, the Giants are young. And with winning championships comes experience of losing. You're going to lose tough playoff games. You're going to get a beating here and there. And that's how you get beat up, you get back up, and it's how you respond. You get punched in the face, you get back up, and it's how you respond to the next swing. The New York Football Giants is a young, strong team. And last night, they got taught a lesson. And to me, that's a good thing. Because to win a championship, you got to go through these. The Cowboys are here. The Eagles are there. The Giants are over here. They're creeping up slowly. Sometimes there's going to be a setback. It's how you respond again. I can't sugarcoat it. Yo, the Cowboys played one hell of a football game last night. A lot of Giant fans want to poop on the Giants and their mistakes, and the O-line sucked, and this, and listen. Yo, why don't you be a man and show some respect, man? I hate their guts also, believe me. I hate the Cowboys. I hate the Eagles. I hate anyone who knows me growing up. I hate the 49ers. These are rivalry teams to the Giants over the years. But, yo, you got to tip a cap, man. It takes a man to notice a man. You got to respect what you saw. And I got to say it. I don't think it's so much the Giants made mistakes last night. I think the Cowboys imposed their physical will. And they played a great game. And if the Cowboys defense is going to play football that way all year, and their special teams is going to give you a touchdown now and then, Dak, all he's got to do, Dak, is protect the ball. He don't even have to shoot out. You got to be a real hater to say the Cowboys are not a Super Bowl contender this year. They are what they are. It's one game. But, yo, you can look inside that game, and you saw things that were extremely alarming. Let's see what the Giants do next week and the week after. And even the week after that with Seattle at home on a Monday night, because that's the next time we'll be home and have a chance to redeem ourselves to the Giants' loyal fans. At the end of the day, you can't overreact, but you got to at least keep it real, and that's what I'm doing right here. One game doesn't define the season. It's how you respond to that knockout punch. So I'm going to wait for the Giants to respond, and I believe the Giants will respond. And you want to know why? Because they're run by a hell of a coaching staff, and I believe in the NFL. That's huge. And Daniel Jones is a poised kid who's very disciplined, and respect the beatdown he took last night, and he stood in there and took it to the final minute. I didn't think him and Barkley should have been in the game in the second half, to be honest with you. But maybe it was Dabo's way of telling them, you'll take this beating and you'll remember it. At the end of the day, there's 16 more games. Let's see what's up. Miz.